Welcome back to my cosmic realm once again. Yesterday, I was wondering how did the Monsterverse actually manage to go from a dark and depressing movie like Godzilla 2014 to a movie called Godzilla x Kong which almost looks like the most ridiculous and campy monster movie. And trust me, I am not saying it is a bad thing at all because I actually like the current campy and goofy version of the franchise much more than the darker take. So with that in mind, I strongly believe that Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire is truly going to transform the Monsterverse into a modernized version of the Showa era of Toho's kaiju movies. Over the last couple of months, I have been revealing a ton of interesting details on the possible storyline of the movie and its impact on the overall future of the Monsterverse going forward. And I am glad to mention that majority of these theories and information have been proven to be absolutely 100% accurate by the second official trailer as well as numerous other TV spots released by Warner Bros. And Legendary Studios. However, what I am going to share with you today in this video will probably be the most groundbreaking revelation so far. So, basically this video will contain major spoilers from the movie. If anyone wishes to enjoy Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire without any prior knowledge about its plot, I request you to leave the video at this point. Those who do not mind can sit back, relax and enjoy. Before starting, I just want to make a humble request to you guys to spend 1 second of your time to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel because that is the only thing that motivates me to work harder and to bring you more and more such awesome contents. Okay, with that, let us dive right into the main subject of this video. Last week we had the final official test screening of the movie and as per reports, the version of the movie shown during the event is basically going to be the final cut of the movie which will be shown to audiences. And I have had an extensive conversation with an individual who was present at the test screening who literally had a ton of stuff to say about the movie. He in fact had a lot of positive as well as negative points to reveal about the movie. In this video I am going to share you the entire plot as narrated by this individual and you can judge the quality of the storyline by yourself and form your own opinions. Here is how the story of Godzilla x Kong goes as per the most recent test screening. The movie is said to begin in Rome where the Big G is going to have an epic battle with Titan Skyla, the giant armored cephalopod from King of the Monsters. This can pretty much be confirmed from the numerous TV spots as well as both the trailers where the Big G can be seen near the iconic Roman Colosseum in several shots. The fight is said to be pretty short where Godzilla picks up the win pretty easily. Then the scene reportedly shifts to the Hollow Earth where Kong is being chased by a group of giant death jackals. Kong lures them and leads the jackals into a trap where he brutally kills them. At this point, Titan Doug makes an appearance where he basically eats up the dead remains of these jackals. Then the focus shifts to the main human characters of the movie. As it might already be evident from the two trailers, the primary human protagonists in the movie are Dr. Andrews, Bernie Haynes, Little Gia and most importantly we are introduced to a brand new character called Trapper played by renowned actor Dan Stevens. It is said that Trapper is a design engineer working for Monarch and is the primary architect behind the creation of Kong's cyborg arm better known as the Beast Glove. Bernie Hayes on the other hand, much like his role in GVK, brings in an element of comedy and lightheartedness into the movie. The most important human character in the movie is said to be Little Gia, which I think is pretty obvious from the two trailers. Her story arc in the movie is apparently quite emotional and it actually managed to make a couple of people shed a few tears. In the first quarter of the movie, we see Gia getting visions of the awakening of the Skar King and the presence of a mysterious EV tribe in the Hollow Earth. Now, the interesting aspect is that Gia is not the only one who has visions about Skar King's awakening. It is said that our very own King of the Monsters, the Big G, also senses a huge threat who has the potential to entirely destroy the balance within the ecosystem of the planet. As a result, he starts preparing for war and goes on to supercharge himself on a French power plant, which makes sense because in the second trailer, we did get to see this particular version of him which almost gives us the impression that his body is radiating with electrical energy. Then Godzilla apparently rushes off to Greenland where he kills and eats Titan Tiamat. For those who are new on my channel, let me inform you that Tiamat is basically a giant oversized serpentine sea monster who has the ability to feed on and absorb energy from electricity. Interestingly, Tiamat also has the ability to discharge the same at such high temperatures that can literally boil and evaporate an entire ocean. It is said that after the Big G defeats and consumes Tiamat, he absorbs all the electrical energy stored in its body, making him even more powerful in the process. This is reportedly when we will see the Big G emerging from under the ice in his new pink avatar, which I believe is going to be his permanent design and appearance going forward. Then, the movie shifts its focus to the King of Skull Island, Kong. During his journey within the Hollow Earth, Kong comes across Suko, who actually turns out to be a follower of Skar King. Kong quickly realizes that Suko is in fact being used as a bait by Skar King. Kong then gets attacked by a bunch of other oversized apes. In order to defend himself, Kong grabs Suko and uses him as a blunt weapon before chasing these enemy apes back to their lair. This is where we get to witness the very first appearance of the main antagonist of the movie, Skar King. Kong finds out that Skar King basically rules over all the other Kongs and they recognize him as their new ruler of the Hollow Earth. Then the two involve in an intense one-on-one battle, a small segment of which we did in fact get to see in the second trailer. After a hard-fought battle, Kong apparently ends up having the upper hand on Skar King, and just when he is about to kill him, Skar King summons SHIMO, who appears from behind a wall of lava. He then goes on to freeze Kong's arm. Skar King takes advantage of the situation and takes away Kong's axe. He then brutally breaks the axe and rips it apart into two pieces. This actually makes sense because we did get a very good look at this scene in the second official trailer. Despite the fact that we did not actually get to see SHIMO at any point, the look on Kong's face in this particular shot coupled with these intensely glowing pair of eyes clearly confirms SHIMO's appearance. Suko apparently has a change of heart at this point and eventually helps Kong escape back to Monarch. Kong is then taken to a research facility where he is being treated, and this is where he gets equipped with the giant beast glove which would support his injured arm and most importantly help him fight Skar King. The beast glove is apparently not just a simple reinforcement to support Kong's injured arm, but it also provides him with a wide range of abilities. Some of the most notable features of the beast glove are shock absorption, generating high amount of energy and ability to let out a highly intense beam of electric blast. Monarch eventually comes to the conclusion that Kong by no means will be able to defeat Skar King and SHIMO on his own. They also finds out that Skar King apparently is able to mind control SHIMO due to the presence of a radioactive crystal which is attached to the tip of his whip. Then we see Dr. Andrews, Little Gia and few other members of Monarch travel to one of the Hollow Earth temples, which is basically the home for the EV tribe. Let me remind you that the EV tribe are biologically the same group of people who featured in Kong Skull Island. It is believed that during the Great Titan War, a section of the tribe got displaced who ended up taking shelter in Skull Island. And most importantly, Little Gia being a member of the EV tribe acts like a communication bridge between the humans on the surface and the ones inside the Hollow Earth. Dr. Andrews finds out that the EV already predicted Skar King's return, so they get Gia to summon Mothra, whom they discover in an underground Hollow Earth EV temple guarded by webbing. So this kind of confirms my speculation that this particular outline, which gives us the impression of a titan with a giant pair of wings, could be Mothra. This can be further confirmed from this shot from the trailer where Gia is climbing up these giant stairs, and when she reaches the top, she seems to be having some kind of an interaction with Mothra similar to her interactions with Kong. She apparently is trying to give Mothra the message to help Kong and Monarch locate Godzilla so that the two iconic titans can team up to fight Skar King and SHIMO. So, Mothra then leads Kong to Cairo in Egypt, where he is greeted by none other than the Big G. It turns out that Godzilla still has some unfinished business with Kong and appears visibly upset after seeing Kong back on the surface world once again. Godzilla then pulls off a Roman Reigns and goes on to spear Kong through a pyramid, which you can actually see on your screen. Kong, after trying to be reasonable for a decent amount of time, eventually snaps and delivers a powerful uppercut with the beast glove. But Godzilla eventually gets the upper hand and knocks Kong over and stands over him ready to kill him with his atomic breath. Fortunately, this is when Mothra comes to the rescue and successfully manages to convince the two titans to put their differences aside and work together. Then the scene shifts to Skar King, who leads SHIMO and his troop of apes to the home of the EV tribe in an attempt to find a way to the surface world in order to invade the same. The members of the EV tribe, out of fear and desperation, lead Skar King to a portal which opens up to the surface world in Rio de Janeiro and Brazil. This is where the third act, more specifically the final battle of the movie, is said to take place. The epic fight sequence apparently begins with Skar King arriving to Rio by riding on top of SHIMO surrounded by his army of apes, while on the other hand Kong arrives to the battlefield by riding on top of the Big G with Mothra leading the way. To add a touch of adorable element to the whole sequence, we see little Suko arriving to the battlefield as well by riding on top of Titan Doug. So, it seems like Legendary Studios are treating Doug like a mini Godzilla, just like how Suko is being depicted as a mini Kong. Skar King tries to lead SHIMO to freeze the entire planet to cause a second ice age, which is actually quite evident from this scene right here. You can literally see SHIMO at this point, who seems to be forcing out an ice breath upwards towards the sky. If you look at this region surrounding him, you can literally see the area slowly freezing and is getting covered with a thick layer of snow. However, fortunately for the people of Brazil, the Big G interrupts and attacks SHIMO. However, SHIMO counterattacks and briefly even manages to partially freeze Godzilla before Kong interrupts. Godzilla and Kong then tries to launch an all-out attack on SHIMO when they are interrupted by Skar King's army of apes. Skar King then attacks Kong and knocks him out for a while with the help of his whip. He then proceeds to attack Suko, which pisses off Kong to the extent that he punches Skar King so hard which literally knocks out one of his teeth. We then see the queen of the monsters, Mothra, who uses her webbing abilities to trap a large number of Skar King's apes, kind of similar to how Spider-Man uses his webbing abilities to trap his enemies. So, this battle apparently goes on for about 20 minutes, which is said to be absolutely epic and one of the craziest monster battles to be ever put to screen. In fact, we are quite lucky to already witness a decent number of shots from the final battle, including this absolutely hilarious scene where Kong literally knocks out one of Skar King's teeth. At the very end of this crazy 20-minute rollercoaster monster battle, Godzilla finally has an encounter with Skar King. It does not take much time for Skar King to realize that he is no match for the Big G and tries to escape and run away. Unfortunately for him, Godzilla gets hold of his whip by catching it in his mouth. The king of the monsters then proceeds to brutally destroy and break the whip, which sends SHIMO's mind control crystal attached to the tip sliding along the ground. And in a hilarious turn of events, the crystal is retrieved by none other than little Suko, who at this instant is riding on the back of Titan Doug along the streets of Brazil. Suko then hands over the crystal to Kong, who uses it to use SHIMO to freeze Skar King. At this point, Godzilla and Kong both team up to launch an epic beatdown on Skar King, who is eventually ripped apart into several pieces. The movie ends with Godzilla forcing out his newly upgraded pink atomic breath towards the sky, which dissipates the little ice blizzard over the city of Rio created by SHIMO, which you can see right here. At the very end, we see Kong returning to his Hollow Earth temple with all the other apes bowing down to him. This particular gesture basically means Kong has now rightly and respectfully achieved the title of King Kong. So, that is pretty much a rough overview of the entire plot of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. I hope you enjoyed listening to it, because I personally think the plot for this movie sounds exactly like what I have been expecting to witness in a Monsterverse movie. One of the things I absolutely love about the movie is that this is the first Monsterverse movie where the main antagonist is not a human being. For the first time, Legendary Studios decided to have both the protagonist and the antagonist as oversized monsters and titans, which makes me all the more excited for the movie. So, with that, we come to the end of this video. Please let me know your thoughts about all these new details in the comments down below. And please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.